So a very small one on positive and normative economics. And the biggest mistake a person could make here is thinking that positive statements are those that are facts and normative statements are opinions. So this is not like fifth grade fact and opinion going on. It's positive statements in particular are a little different than simply facts. And if you read the definition, hopefully that will be clear, because they are limited to either descriptive statements, like this is this, like, yeah, okay, this is a fact or whatever, or economic predictions. Now, here, this is what's interesting. So, an economic prediction could be incorrect, it could be completely wrong, right? That's all fine. But the idea here is it is something that you can check against evidence. You can prove whether it is right or wrong. That's the idea. If it's as we'll see in normative, if it's a value judgment or something of that particular sort, that is an opinion, then you really can't prove whether it's ever right or wrong, right? Here, if you, assuming you had proper evidence, you could prove whether something is correct or not. So even if the prediction is incorrect, even if the statement is incorrect, but as long as it can be proven to be incorrect, it is still a positive statement, right? So like, what is basically, and we'll be looking at more examples in just a bit, but an example here is increased interest rates encourage savings, encourages saving, which is true. But even if I said decreased interest rates encourage saving, that is still be a positive statement. It will be wrong, but you can, with evidence available, disprove it. That's the idea. With normative, you can't disprove it. They're just opinions and value judgments, right? So here, if you look at normative, so it involves a value judgment, a state of what should be or ought to be. So if you're talking about what should be, what ought to be, there's no real correct answer. And if anything, a question for debate rather than something you can objectively determine or prove with the evidence or economic evidence available, right? So since you can't prove any normative statement to be right or wrong with the evidence available, because it is an opinion, that's what you'd call normative. And that's the one way that's the one way I use to really distinguish between positive and normative ones, whether or not you can prove it by using evidence. And here, if you look at the example, people should be encouraged to save. What evidence can you use to say that they should be, like, should they be, should they not? It's pretty a question for debate, really, right? It's not really black and white. However, with positive, whether it is black, whether it is white, that's irrelevant. The fact that it is black and white is enough to call it a positive statement. And the concept was just this much. Let's look at a few, examples here. Um, so positive statements: a fall in incomes will lead to a rise in demand for own label supermarket foods. Again, it's a descriptive statement. Even if it's wrong, it's an economic prediction that's wrong, that's still fine. It's still a positive statement. Um, and there are just few more. I'm not going to read all of them, but if you want, you could just pause and just go through them. And you could just Google a lot. Like, there are a lot of examples available online. But like, here's what's important. Like, so subjective statements, value judgment. So normative: pollution is the most serious economic problem. Now, I'm not saying there aren't stats to show that pollution is a serious economic problem, but the most serious one, it's not really something you can prove through evidence, right? Uh, Unemployment is more harmful than inflation. What is harm? Like, all of that type of stuff. So, you should do something. You should increase the congestion charge for, well, weird phrasing, but yeah. And then you have a few more examples for this. So we should be good for that, because the maximum amount, I mean, the weightage of positive and normative economics is very little in your paper. Like, the max they ask, they might have one question or maybe two in your MCQ paper, where you have to pick the statement that is a positive or normative one. And that's pretty much it.